Hello, Kayla, and welcome to your spirituality coaching session. Yes, I'm turning up my light here, like I'm about to turn up the light on the shed in your life. So, hi, how are you doing? I hope you're well. We just entered Cancer season, so I know there are a lot of feelings coming up, and I have a feeling that this is like perfect timing for this. So, what we're going to get into today is everything, okay? First, we are going to start with the darkest part, with this dark mirror oracle. That is going to point out the darker truth, the thorn in your side, the weed in your garden that is currently deviating your life off path. Okay? Next, we're going to get into this karma deck that is going to speak on what this is a replication of, because this life is all about what has already happened before and what you're sort of weeding out in order for you to balance out enough of your karma that you can move on. After that, I am going to pull from, I have so many decks, the energy deck to get an idea of the energy that you have going on right now, what you're attracting, what you're putting out there, the characteristics that you are showing in this world, along with where you are, where you are on this journey, as told by the major arcana. And then last but not least, the message you need for self-care and a direct note from your guides. So get comfy, man. Get some pen and paper. Sometimes people need tissue. Let's get started with this dark mirror and this karma first, right? So maybe I should have pulled them out before I started recording, but I just wanted to have like a nice conversation. This is the closest I get to socializing nowadays. It's reading people, right? So I am going to be pulling from the universe, source, the highest up. One could possibly go to get these answers for you until we get to the message from your guides. So, dear universe, what is the thorn in Kayla's side? What is the hidden truth in Kayla Wilson's life right now? What is the subconscious factor in Kayla's life right now? Ah, Kayla, ma'am, are you dealing with a form of addiction in any way, shape, or form? Everything about this says to me that you are really, really good at imagining things, at using your imagination, at possibly even you got the skill during childhood that you learned how to develop a sort of peace inside no matter what's going on with you. But because of that, maybe now you're numbing yourself because it's created this artificial heart. This is about numbness. This is about feeling alone in the world, obsession with patterns, things that have happened before in the past, feelings that you never allowed yourself to feel that are now still rolling around in your aura, essentially. Do you wake up depressed sometimes? And you don't know why, because everything in life is going right, or even possibly every time things start going good for you, something comes up. That has to do with the energetic thing. There is a part of yourself that feels more peaceful amongst thorns, that feels more safe outside of happiness. Like the idea of happiness coming and being taken from you is sort of frightening. So instead, you just make peace in the numb space that you have created for yourself right now. Is this a literal addiction? It could be addiction to a person. It could be addiction to a pattern, maybe a relationship, even possibly with this sort of energy here. But there is something that you are not allowing yourself to honor and release in regards to your childhood and the patterns that you have developed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull from this karma deck to dig a little deeper into that for you, to see what exactly the pattern is that you are addicted to, that you're sort of having a hard time breaking. Because it's not always necessarily a drug thing, but it can play out in food, or maybe you can be addicted to relationships, bad friendships. It could be actually anything that in the long run is not good for you and something that you've already known or you've already done before, that you just keep doing it in a different way. So now I'm going to be pulling from this. And this deck is sort of cool because it tells you in a way like your chart. This is the planets, signs, and houses. So I'm going to pull from these to get an idea in the astrological way of what the pattern you're avoiding is, what the thing is that is causing you addiction and obsession and not really allowing you to get in touch with your feelings, that just has you sitting sort of kind of outside of yourself during your own life. Dear universe, what is the pattern that Khaila is subconsciously repeating? What is the pattern that Khaila is subconsciously repeating? What is the pattern that Khaila is subconsciously repeating? What is the pattern that Khaila is subconsciously repeating? What is the pattern that Khaila is subconsciously repeating? Flip them all. You don't stand up for yourself. You got Mars, which is your drive, your passion, your power. You got it in Gemini, which means your words, your thoughts, the way that you communicate. But it's in the 12th house, which means that it's sort of in the sunken prison, in the sunken place. Did you not get to express yourself like you needed to when you were a child? Did you learn to be quiet in order to keep the peace? Were you told that you weren't allowed to be angry or to voice that you were angry? Was there some punishment behind that? Because that is still lingering here, and it causes you to dishonor yourself. And by dishonor yourself, what I mean is, you know how you feel, but you're afraid to say it. Is it triggering an abandonment wound? Is it triggering a pattern in some way, shape, or form? But that's not what you need to do. In order to grow, what that's doing is continuing to create the same wound over and over again. The wounds that you have become comfortable with. Maybe you even forgot that at one point you had a lot to say and you got shut down so much that you no longer say anything when something goes wrong. Have you in some ways been punishing yourself for just continuously putting yourself in that same position? I have the same issue. It's really annoying. Like, wow, I didn't realize that so much stuff in my childhood literally changed my whole personality. Starting to strip that away shows you a whole different person. A different heart, if you will. You become a different person when you're in a safe space as opposed to the person that you need to be when you are on pins and needles trying to protect yourself all the time, especially as a child. And there can be parts of you that still get that way, like when you're finally out of your parents' house, when you get married, when you live somewhere else. You can be triggered when you get in a fight with your spouse, like, oh my gosh, I don't want this to go the same way I went with my parents. Or if you got the silent treatment or you got shut down, it's just ripples that stay in your mind. So now I'm going to pull for the part of yourself that is still holding on to this energy. Dear universe, what is the archetype or the characteristic of Khaila's shadow that is perpetuating this pattern? What is the characteristics of the pattern that no longer serves Khaila? Always good stuff, right? Oh, I only say this because this hurts my heart. I get it sometimes too. The prostitute. I am familiar with this. The prostitute is somebody who is willing to exchange their worth for whatever somebody else perceives as their value at that moment. Because the prostitute does not have an acknowledgement of her own worth. You negotiate based on survival, what you think you need to do to survive, which is you selling out yourself, which is what I was just talking about. There's also some energy of the beggar here. Somebody who feels unworthy of love, somebody who feels they have to depend on others for their sense of security, safety, love. It's just a really, I don't want to say dark, it's a deep wound that literally can only be healed inside of you because it's about you. It's about how you feel about yourself and you starting from fucking ground zero try looking at it from outside yourself, because I know with people like us, it can be hard to look at you like, okay, so I do A, B, C, and D, right? No. Try to look at how you look through other people's eyes and in regards to how much you give, because this is definitely the energy of a giver. You want to be the hero. You want to be the heroine all the time. And that's how you end up being the prostitute and the beggar, because you give so much, but you don't give it to yourself. You give it to everybody else, and then you expect that the people that you give it to will give it back to you, and it leaves you depleted every single time. And then you come back to that pattern again of, oh, my parents, or I didn't feel like this when I didn't feel loved when I was younger, or this is something that keeps going over and over again, and it'll keep triggering for you. But because it all starts inside. So now I'm going to pull for the characteristic that you need to embrace in order to sort of balance out this energy that you have going for yourself right now. You're definitely healing from inner child wounds or needing to do some inner child work. So dear universe, what personified trait does Khaila need to embrace to balance out this energy? What does Khaila need to embrace to balance out this energy? What does Khaila need to embrace to balance out this energy? The athlete. That's always a good one, because this means you get to overcome some shit. The other thing that popped up was the victim. This means that you need to honor this victim. Cry it out. Let yourself feel for all the times that you weren't allowed to feel your feelings. Only then, when you allow yourself to get all of that out, to let that child scream, shout, whatever it needs to now, will you start working towards this athlete energy. The athlete is the person that has been downtrodden, handicapped at the bottom of the barrel, and somehow they have made it through it all, and they're able to tell other people the story now. And this can even be physically here. I'm also getting some clues that you need to be writing or journaling, telling a story, telling yourself a story, but you need to start jogging your mind in regards to writing and just starting to get used to your feelings and your words and allowing yourself to express, because you have so much backed up energy in regards to your feelings and things that you don't get to say, or things that, you know what, I don't even think you're letting yourself feel some of this stuff. You blocking yourself from feeling it, because then if you felt it, then you'd have to think about it and it'd be real. So right now I'm going to pull for energy. Dear universe, what is the energy that Khaila Wilson is currently projecting? What is the energy that Khaila Wilson is currently projecting? What is the energy that Khaila Wilson is currently attracting? What is the energy that she is attracting? So, the energy you're putting out there to the universe, telling it what you want, is that you're ready to take a journey. You're ready to take a path from where you've been before. And you don't want to do that no more. You're ready for new things. That's the energy that you're projecting into the universe. Sort of kind of what your soul was crying out for. So what is your energy attracting? Are you seeking a man with money? Because that's what this is, a man with a coin. Typically, this means somebody who's financially reliable. Or even it could possibly refer to a part of yourself that is more masculine in energy. Like you go out there and get it, you get stuff done, and you don't have to rely on anybody else. Which sort of kind of seems like it's in alignment for what you want to find on your path. Like along the way, you'll find a part of yourself that you did not know was there before. A part of you that was stronger than you ever thought possible. Once again, because of that athlete card. So, now I'm still going to pull from the energy deck for this one to see what the energy you need to embrace in order to level up. What is the energy that Khaila Wilson needs to embrace on her journey? What is the energy that Khaila needs to embrace on her journey? Intuition. Starting to trust things even if you can't see But this also means trusting yourself and the things that come to your mind, even if you can't see what the result is going to be at the end, because it's, once again, this card popped up on the bottom. It's leading you towards that energy of where you're more in control of your finances, whether that be with you doing something for your money or the person you're with or will be with, depending on your current situation, right? Next, we got this Major Arcana one. And Major Arcana is like the tarot deck or the main storyline that's in the part of a tarot deck, right? There are, I don't want to say this wrong because it's my job, I believe 21 cards that go here, but either way, these represent the hero's journey and every step on that. The hero's journey is the journey of self-discovery. You go from, it's the beginning of your path, because you just pulled that card. I didn't even think about it. You go from the Fool, which is the beginning. You just jumping out there trying to find out what life means. You go through some difficulties. Then you go somewhere outside of where you've been before and you find a gift. It could be an epiphany or an actual thing that you bring back to your regular life, but you're never the same after this because you found something that was amazing. A hero's journey is about discovering new things about yourself, gifts and talents and all that sort of stuff. So this is going to explain where you are on that journey. So dear universe, where is Khaila Wilson on her hero's journey? Shiro, where is Khaila Wilson on her Shiro's journey? These are always interesting to me because it's such an itty-bitty deck to pull through. The Emperor. This is about coming in contact with your power or somebody else's power, possibly a controlling figure. Somebody who's helping you getting your life together, typically with the least amount of emotion possible. But this is like a checkpoint. King me. Essentially what this is. Are you being controlled in some way, shape, or form? Are you feeling like you're out of control? Do you need to take the reins in your life? That is what this is asking right now at this checkpoint. And then you're followed up because after that, it's asking that you actually take this time to actually be authoritative with yourself in a way, shape, or form. Start to really look at your life and be serious about yourself. Do it without feelings, because only then, without the feelings attached, will you see everything for what it really is. Then you're being asked to go into hermit mode. Spend some time to yourself. Think, journal, read. Whatever you need to do, but you need to do it in isolation, because then after that, you'll be hitting the rebirth phase. There are some things on the horizon for you, but only once you begin taking that next step, because man, you got to put the hammer down on yourself. After some loving TLC for your inner child, then maybe you'll start stepping into the energy that you want to embrace. Because I feel like there's a different type of person that you feel like you were meant to be, a different type of energy that you want to have, that you're just trying to figure out how the hell is this going to happen for me. So self-care is up next. In order for you to level up, there's all this hard stuff you have to do, but sometimes you need to know what you need to do to like be kind to yourself, to love yourself. And I think that's especially prevalent in your reading. Maybe many people have not been kind to you, my dear, and I'm sorry that that took place. People are shit sometimes. They have their own stuff and they put it on you, even our parents. But now you are at the age where you are finally able to change things. You're not that child anymore who was helpless and stuck in that situation, my dear. So now we're going to find out what you need to do for self-care in order to start feeling like your best self, a self that you've never got to be before because of the circumstances that started this life. I want you to realize that things may have not been like awesome before, but going forward, you get to have a control over that. You get to control your mindset, control your feelings, and like drive this course instead of just feeling like a victim on a raft. You know what I mean? So, dear universe, what does Khaila Wilson need to do for self-care? What does Khaila Wilson need to do for self-care? What does Khaila Wilson need to do for self-care? Meditate first and foremost. How often do you meditate? And keep in mind, meditation could be sitting down like this, right? And every time your mind talks, you sort of flex the muscle and make it stop. And that's how it's supposed to go back and forth. Or you can just let your thoughts flow in meditation just to hear yourself and see what happens. Just observe from the background and let your mind rant. Because I deeply feel like you need to let yourself speak, like you've been shut down so many times. But meditation could be running. It could be painting, cooking. Anything that takes you out of your mind and focusing so much on those thoughts into your body and doing things that calm you and keep you mindful and in that moment is really the main part. Connect with fire. You got connect with fire in two different ways. A burning ritual and then the actual connecting with fire. And what this says for me, because the moon is in Scorpio and there's actually, which is all about rebirth, which is why this reading is probably coming for you today. But in 3 days, on the 24th is the full moon. That would be a great time for you to write a list of things that are no longer serving you, that is not working for you, habits, behaviors, anything you don't want to have, anything you want to let go of, any trauma, any difficult situation you've been in. Write that shit down and then burn it. Let it go. This is going to be a time for you to clear away what is not working for you, because there's a lot of great shit in here. Also, if you get a chance, plan a vacation. This could be as simple as you taking a ride somewhere, a short vacay, even a staycation. I sometimes rent a hotel room in my same town down the street just to get some time away. And I go see stuff like I don't usually look at here, like the mall, movie theater, new restaurants, because it could be so much. You think you have to buy a plane ticket and do A, B, C, and D, and that's just really more stressful than a vacation is supposed to be. You can find some great stuff down the road, things you never would have thought you saw before. Try some boutiques and some stores. Just love you is really the message I'm getting here. You need some love on you. So last but not least, we are getting to the message from your guides. And this is the thing I'm just going to leave you with. I'm just going to read you what they say, and then you have to sort of journal or even video diary like this, vlog, take voice notes, write it out. But for you, getting your thoughts out, getting your words out, and allowing yourself to express your feelings is really important. And that's really what I wanted to make sure you know at the final part of this reading, that your words are important, your feelings matter, and that's what you actually need to get out there in this world in order for you to bring into balance your feelings and your mind. I look forward to the follow-up on this if you have any questions. So, last but not least, for the guides of Khaila Wilson, what would you like for her to know right now? What would you like for Khaila Wilson to know? All right. Never make permanent decisions on temporary feelings. And adventure awaits. Go find it. It does.